Good morning, traders. I'm Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Tuesday, August 20th. Wall Street is looking to extend its winning streak today after all three major indices posted another day of gains yesterday. The Dow added 236 points, or more than 0.5%. The S&P 500 picked up 54 points, or nearly 1%. The Nasdaq advanced 245 points, or 1.39%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes. Good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. The S&Ps are tilting higher. We're up 0.06%, which is slightly higher. The market's attention's on earnings report. Tech stocks are showing some positive action this morning, but the earning results from Palo Alto Networks showed a solid beat last night. MDT, Medtronic, they delivered a beat. Lowe's also delivered a beat, but there's an issue with their forward guidance. After the bell today, we got Toll Brothers and Keysight Technologies, and then tomorrow morning we got the retailers like Macy's and Target and TJ Maxx, as well as ADI, all scheduled to report. What other news is hitting the tape? Paramount Global, PARA, ticker PARA. They got that bid from Edgar Bronfman. It's a $4.3 billion bid. We mentioned this yesterday that a bid was pending. Well, it hit. The stock is trading a little off this morning, but we'll see if this turns into a plan. What other stuff do we have going on there? China's, making some moves on tariffs. Market's still not really ready to make a move until after it hears from, Fed Jerome Powell on Friday. I mean, that's really the central bank, meeting is really going to be the big focus of the rest of the week. And, I'm a little nervous on the market. Buffett sold a big stake in Bank of America was announced this morning in a regulatory filing. After selling Apple, he's now selling Bank of America. There's a reason for that, because when you start to lower interest rates, that's typically done in conjunction with a market, with an economy that's weakening. And, the economic data is not widely positive. So that, non-farms payroll report that we're going to get out first week of September, that's going to be key. Fed is still likely to do a 25 basis point cut. I think 50 basis point is just not going to happen, because that would kind of institute or show that there's real fear by them. They want to show that they're managing the economy well. So I still think we're on track for a 25 basis point cut in September. Looking overseas at the markets, we're looking at the DAX. The DAX is down 10 points, or 0.06%. We saw the producer prices fell in July 0.8%. That's less than what they fell in June, but the lower oil prices did help. FTSE's down 57 points, or 0.69%. The CAC, on the other hand, is trading higher by about 7 points, or about 1/10 of 1%. We're looking last night in Asia, and we did see some mixed action. The Nikkei jumped 1.8%, or 674 points. Positive action in autos, retails, and tech stocks. Hang Seng, fell 58 points, or 0.33. Shanghai fell 27 points, or 0.93%. They're still got that hangover from the weakened economy in China. The PBOC held short-term rates steady last night. We saw weakness in energy. We saw weakness in biotech and tech and property stocks last night in Hong Kong and China. And then we're turning our attention over to oil, because oil is, it's moving. I mean, oil was down 1% this morning. It has since turned around, and now it's trading higher. I mean, it's flat to higher, but it's higher. You got WTI at $74.42 a barrel. You got Brent at $77.76 a barrel. The only real news I see out there is Russian seaboard oil flows continue a steady decline, driven by a hefty loss of barrels from a terminal in Asia. But that's really oil is really being reactive to, the peace talks, the ceasefire talks in the Middle East. Israel is said to agree to the proposal. Hamas said Israel changed some of the deal, but it seems like Hamas is willing to accept it. So that kind of should be, positive to lower oil prices a little bit, but maybe that's already priced in. But oil prices have turned, went from lower to higher this morning. And that's what I have for you in terms of morning market update report, Emily.
Bill, I'll point out that you mentioned that earnings are widely watched this morning, keeping an eye on some big tech firms along with retail. And, you did mention a major housing builder in there. So we're going to get to earnings action first. Bill, give us a rundown of what is going on in terms of earnings.
I talked about last night. We got Palo Alto Networks last night, PANW. They beat by 10 cents. They did it on a higher revenue. It was a solid report. Stocks up 2.2% this morning. Medtronic, ticker MTD, David Tom. They met expectations, but they did it on higher revenue. Stocks up, more than 0.5%. So that's good. Lowe's, the home builder, ticker LO, Lowe's, the department store, ticker LOW, Larry Oscar William. They beat by 13 cents, but it was done on lower revenue. Stocks down about 0.3% this morning. Not a great report overall. But upcoming, we got Toll Brothers, ticker TOL, Tom, Oscar, Larry. They're reporting after the bell. Their EPS is $3.28. Expected move is 5.95%. We also have Keysight Technologies, ticker KEYS, Kilo, Edward, Yellow, Sam. Their EPS is $1.35. Expected move is 8.88%. And then tomorrow morning, we got Target reporting. Their EPS is $2.17. Expected move is 8.12%. And TJ Maxx, ticker TJX, Tom John X-Ray. Their EPS is 92 cents, and their expected move is 4.62% when they release tomorrow morning, Emily.
Along with keeping track of those earnings, you're also keeping track of economic events. Not heavy on the economic reports today, but some Fed speak to be keeping an eye on. So give us a look at everything we should be watching when it comes to economic events.
That's true. We're not heavy on economic reports today, but we do get the API oil stockpile estimates that are coming out today after the bell at 4:30 p.m. That does have an effect on oil prices. These are the estimates. The official report comes out tomorrow. But we do get some Fed speak. We're going to hear from Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic at 1:35 p.m. Remember, in his latest comments, he said he's open to a September rate cut, which historically he's been really kind of saying towards the end of the year we'll see one. Now he's saying he's open to ones in September, so that change in narrative is very interesting. We'll have to see what he has to say this afternoon. This could help markets. Also, we're going to be hearing from Michael Barr at 2:45 p.m. Now, he's the vice chairman of supervision. He is a voting member. But he typically doesn't really comment on interest rates, but we'll have to wait and see when he speaks today at 2:45 p.m. But that's what I have for you in terms of economic reports this morning, Emily.
Along with keeping track of earnings and economic events, you're also keeping track of other market moving information. This is data and news coming out of different sectors and segments. You're looking at things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, other catalysts. You're looking at stocks grouped together like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Look at my Dow stocks. I got 13 lower, 17 higher. That's positive walking into the day. And then you're looking at your FANG stocks. Meta and Netflix are off a little bit. Netflix is off just, slightly. But the rest are trading higher. So, that bodes well for a positive opening. We're looking at some of the news behind it. Like, Google, Gmail is said to have experienced another outage yesterday. That's twice in 1 month. But you look at the stock, it is trading up. It's up, about 0.6%. And then you get Tesla. Tesla's up, 1.5 points, 1.5% this morning. Now, the big story out there is the EU is planning to cut tariffs on the Tesla's China-made EVs to 9%. Right now, it's at like 20, almost 21% around there. And so they're going to be cutting that in half, plus more, so down from 20.8 to 9%. That's very beneficial for Tesla, ticker TSLA. That's why we're seeing some gains in the stock this morning. Then we're looking at Dow Jones 30, stocks out there. And, there's a lot of news on Boeing. I mean, the U.S. approved a possible $3.5 billion in foreign military sales to South Korea. Boeing's got, weapons that they're going to be selling them, it looks like. But Boeing did ground their fleet of 777X planes. Um, they need to do some tests to reveal damage on jet structure, which just came up by yesterday. So they're grounding that fleet for a short period of time. You look at shares of Boeing; they're down 1% this morning. Disney, ticker DIS, they canceled their Star Wars series that they just came out after one series. Banks are trading lower. J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and it's really due to the outlook on the banking sector not being very positive, and Buffett lowering his stake in Bank of America. So, we are seeing some weakness in the banks this morning. In terms of merger news, Kroger, ticker KR, Kroger seeks an injunction against the FTC proceeding over the Albertson merger. Para, ticker PARA, Bronfman, of the Seagram's family, he submitted that $4.3 billion offer for Redstone National Amusement Parks. And that's the one that controls Paramount Global. Johnson & Johnson, ticker J&J, they're going to be requiring V-Wave Medical for an upfront payment of $600 million. And Hawaiian Holdings, ticker HA, Henry Apple, Hawaiian Holdings stock is higher this morning as the DOJ clears its merger deal with Alaskan Air. So that's all positive. And then we're talking guidance news. PANW, Palo Alto Networks, sees Q1 adjusted EPS $1.47 to $1.49. Street estimates $1.43. That's an uptick. MDT, Medtronic, they raised their full year 2025 EPS view to $5.42 to $5.50. That's up 2 cents on the low end. Street estimate has it at $5.44. So that is an uptick. Lowe's, on the other hand, ticker LOW, Larry Asker William, they cut their full year 2024 adjusted EPS view to $11.70 to $11.90. Street estimate was at $12.14. That's a sizable downtick. So we got to be worried. And Lowe's is trading lower this morning. But it was off more, so it is coming back a little bit. But I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it finishes higher today. What else we got here? TXN, Texas Instruments, they're holding a capital management call today at 11 a.m. Microchip, ticker MCHP, Michael Charlie Henry Paul, they're having their annual shareholders meeting today at noon. In terms of buyback news, Monster Beverage, ticker MNST, their board authorized a 500 million share buyback. Palo Alto Networks, PANW, they added 500 million to their share buyback program. And the VIP Shop, ticker VIPS, Victor India, Paul Sam, they announced a buyback worth $1 billion worth of its shares. So that's positive for VIPS. In terms of catalyst calls this morning, Abercrombie and Fitch going into Q2 earnings. Citibank opens up positive catalyst watch on the stock. I think that makes sense. Ticker ANF, Apple Nancy Frank. And that's where I have for you in terms of news hitting the market this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
I'm going with TJX, Tom John, X-Ray, TJX companies. Earnings are out tomorrow morning. EPS is 92 cents. Expected move is 4.62%. And you're looking at the call volume. Yesterday, we had 7,921 calls versus 6,033 puts. It's positive. Open interest is also positive, 82,124 versus 81,973. It's not overwhelming. That's kind of my issue. I'd like to see it more, significant, but we'll keep an eye on the option volume today. Make sure the call volume looks is strong today. Major brokers, they have been raising price targets on the stock. That's kind of nice to see. And then, you got what the CEO said last quarter in the statement. The CEO went out there and he said, our teams across the company executed on our initiatives and we're laser focused on delivering consumers exciting values on great brands and fashions and treasure hunts shopping experiences every day. You see that? He gives the success of last quarter's earnings beat to the team. That's always positive. I always like to see that. Now, in terms of getting in, like in price to get in here, listen, the stock's trading 112.80 to 113.45. I like it under 113. I like it 12 at 112.50. I like it better at $112. I don't know if maybe that's too aggressive, but I'm going to be looking for 112 to 112.50. Hopefully there's an opportunity in the pre-market to kind of, they were in the first 30 minutes of the trading day to get something in at that range, because I do think it's hitting the data points that I want to see. It's just not, on the high end of them. It's beating them, it's edging higher, but it's not on the high end. But they should come in, they should deliver a beat. So, the stock could move, so I do got to go with it because it's the best of breed today. TJX, Tom John X-ray, that's my pick of the day, Emily.
Treasure hunting in TJX today, Bill, and we will follow that along with you. And coming up, we're going to see if you were able to get some green in your pick of the day from yesterday. We have heard it throughout the show, but I haven't pointed it out yet, so stick with us to see what that was. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our Hot Off the Press segment. Bill, take it away.
Kroger is doing a bond sale to fund the Albertson tie-up. NVIDIA is trading a little lower this morning, but their earnings come out next week, and that's that's another. Markets are also waiting on that. They're really, they really want to see NVIDIA's earnings continue to be strong, which will be the likelihood. Yeah, Eli Lilly, their weight loss drug cuts risk of diabetes by 94% in obese patients. Wow, that's huge. What's Lilly doing this morning? Lilly's up $20. Fuel cell ticker FCEL. Something's happening. They announced a special meeting, shareholders meeting. It's not till October 31st, so it's okay. State Street is in pact with Taurus to enhance its digital investment lifestyle. That means crypto. I don't like that. JB Hunt, ticker JBHT, they authorized a repurchase of $1 billion worth of the company's common stock and a regulatory filing. Ooh. The European Union said it has approved 5 billion euros in German state aid to support new microchip plants in Dresden for the European semiconductor manufacturing company. This is, that's interesting. That should, help semiconductor stocks today. Walt Disney Indian antitrust body has reached an initial assessment on the $8.5 billion India merger of Reliance World and Walt Disney's media assets. Because remember, that gives them a stranglehold on cricket broadcast rights. It is a setback so far. They feel that the media assets harm competition due to their power planned merger, but it's not over with. They could still win it. And that's what I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading on this Tuesday, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was Palo Alto Networks. I caught a slew of price target raises on the stock this morning. And Bill, as you told us during your earnings rundown, they did beat earnings on higher revenue. They reported a Q4 EPS of $1.51. That was 10 cents better than analyst estimate of $1.41. Revenue for the quarter came in at $2.2 billion versus the consensus estimate of $2.16 billion. You did give us that note about their guidance during your NewsWare alerts rundown. You also told us about that additional $500 million share repurchase program approved by their board. They also announced that they're expanding their collaboration with SLB Co. to strengthen their cybersecurity for the energy sector. When it comes to earnings reports, Bill, this is sort of the trifecta of news items. So how did your call work out?
Yeah, it worked out well. PANW came through. I mean, the fact of the matter is the stock opened up at 336, fell initially to the 335 area, but then it just rallied. And, it closed out at 343. So I got my 1% gain during the day. I was happy. And I did trade it after the close and on the earnings announcement because the straddle price was set for a big wide move and I could get in, on the low and ride a little bit. So I wrote it $4 and I was happy. But, the stock did hit 362 last night. You look at it this morning, the stock is still trading higher. It's at 348, up $5. But, there could be some additional gains in Palo Alto Networks, PANW, for today. But, yesterday we got a beat. After the earnings, we got a beat. And this morning it's holding its gain. So PANW was a winner, Emily.
A winner any way you slice it there, Bill, and we will check in with you tomorrow about today's TJX company's pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.